want to say, but they have their purpose on why they distract you when you're trying to do something. So you got to keep your eyes open because of public safety on the boardwalk, Atlantic City Boardwalk. Every time I come out, I do that. Now, I want to give a shout out to some of the local businesses and stuff. Y'all know Wawa, thank you. Today I sent Wawa I have his name and I can't call it out, but he's the director of the Wawa Foundation. And I sent him a thank you and showed him how many people we fed in our community here in Atlantic City, which was wonderful. Also, all the other organizations that gave finances for us to give food out in our community, I do appreciate everything y'all did. And in 2026, God is doing an increase in the income. So everybody gonna be blessed. That make sure that they work hard with their small businesses and local businesses. Never give up. Second is, you know, some things are on a city level and some things is on a federal level. And don't think I just was yelling that out all those months prior this year about staying on a federal level, because that's what we on now. When I had talked about that, we wind up being on a federal level around the world because food stamps stopped for a little while, so people wasn't getting food. And did I know? No. Anybody else knew what was going to happen? Maybe they did. I don't know. But I sure didn't know. And so, but God told me that. And so whenever God tells me something, I try to make sure I do it, because I wouldn't even do this business if it wasn't for God's business. And I try to do things that I know when Rufus is not feeling well, or if I'm not feeling well, or somebody else, I do things that I can handle, and I'll go myself, even if Rufus don't go, because it's for God. And I promised him I was going to do that. I got one of the biggest transformations this year, and the best Christmas present you ever could see. I'm telling you, I couldn't pay for it, but it ain't time to tell it yet. But I just want y'all to know that God blessed me for being so faithful and kind, and in due time. You ever heard of due time? I learned that from Reverend Pastor, my father-in-law. I learned it from him before he passed away. We don't have to say his name. We already know he's a Whitfield. So I learned that from him about due time. And so, in due time, you're going to hear about that blessing, you know, that God gave us, you know. And it's one of the biggest blessings that you cannot play for. And I'm so elated and excited. The hard thing is to wait on it. That's the hard thing. To wait on it and wait your turn and all that kind of stuff. And then when your turn comes, not let nobody take it from you, your turn. Because it's your turn. They had their turn. So now it's your turn. And so some people want to dive in to your blessing when it's your turn. But that's your oil. And you got to keep it. You can't give it away. So I know that. I give a lot of things away. But I know common sense. Doesn't matter what age you are. It matters with common sense what you're going to do. You know, the Healing House been growing and growing. And I feel so wonderful today. I feel good. I feel wonderful. But I'm going to tell you something. When you have a small business, get it on a federal level. Some people, they work in those departments, but they don't even have time to look at their business. I don't knock dispensaries. If you see it on there, on my page, that's their business. And one thing Marty Smalls, y'all know I go to the CRDA meetings and stuff. One time I was sitting in the CRDA, and I respect Marty Smalls for that. because he stood up and he said, listen, they were talking about dispensaries, and there's too many of them. We can't afford anymore. And so, it's different when you go and other people are still in the building working. They ain't going, you're going. So this is what I heard out of Mayor Marty Small's mouth. It made common sense to me, and so he said, you got to watch what you invest in. He gives you the opportunity to open up those businesses, but before you invest your money in it, you got to see how other businesses are doing in that field before you invest your money. And so, he can't help if your business closed. It has nothing to do with him. He can't help that, but he gave you the opportunity to open up a dispensary. We have tons of them around here. I don't even count them. But one thing I count is I have to go to work. Now, listen to this. And because I am a registered nurse, I can't continue to drive Dash, right? I got to go to work. I love going to work. One thing I did was, and I share my transparency with you guys, one thing I did was I got the information first before I jumped on a job. I did. I got the information and I waited. And boy, was it hard to wait, because I could have went on and started working as a registered nurse. I'm so glad I waited and went on to One Stop and took my time and did what I had to do, because now I received a grant for $5,000 to be able to go to the mechanical construction over there in Millville. My class start online January the 20th all the way up to March the 2nd. And so I'm going to take a field that's related to my nursing course. And that way I can go back to work in a different field. And I'm looking forward to going to work as a consultant, maybe for Medicare and Medicaid, to make and also look at claims for the field that I'm getting in. I qualify for that. All because I waited. I received a grant from the state of New Jersey to go to school, $5,000. I'm proud of that because I waited. I waited on God to be able to do that. Second, I got better health care. I chose a plan. I got better teeth. I got better health care. I'm going to get the smile I want. I found a company. I just took my time and not run. There's a company in Philly that'll give me my little gold plate that I like, my little symbol and my smile. My husband got his teeth and all those wonderful things. And shout out to the new insurances that we have in the community. But sometimes you got to slow down so you could take care of yourself, so you could sustain your business. And I did a lot of running, but I made sure I did and I'm still on the road. I'm still on the because finally I'm able to see about me. I took care of hubby. He's fine. He's going on, And some people say this and that. Well, we got off of Medicaid. We don't get food. I'm sharing it. We don't get food stamps, And so those, will we love to get them? Sure. But even if we qualify, we don't want them. We want to be able to afford and go back to work and do that. My mother worked until her last days. And if you can continue to work and be retired, then go ahead on back to work. You don't have to sit home. Not only that is, when you on Medicaid, you can't own assets and all that kind of stuff. So you got to be careful when you do those things. God blessed us, and he can bless you too. He can. So with the walking and exercise, I picked up some pounds, and I'm going to tell y'all something. Going back to be able to find out what's going on in my body, choosing a better health care, going over to Atlantic Care, going over there. I'm finding out all kind of things that I need to know about Robin that I hadn't found out. And thank God a lot of my tests, mostly every one I took, is coming up normal. That's nothing but God. The last time I told you I went for an eye exam, they said my eyes improved. All this social media I did over the years, my eyes improved. That's nothing but a miracle from God, I'm telling you. So health comes first, then all the other things come second. And I thank God for that. Another thing is, I would have been ran to Georgia. I would have been in Georgia by now. Why? Because I have a need to go. I have a need. But when God slows you down for a minute, it's for better, it's not for worse. I couldn't see it then, all this year when I was dropping expenses. So shout out to Stockton University. I wanted to give them that scholarship around this time, Christmas time, because I usually get my funding, even if it was from the block grant. Once I found out that, I usually get my funding and turn it right back over in my community. But I couldn't give them that $1,000 to start that scholarship this year on time for January. And their foundation starts, the people come out once a year to start the new scholarship so the kids can go to school here in our community. So because of the purchasing department not able to do those, all that chaos that's going on down there in the planning board and what's going on with the purchasing department and stuff, we didn't manage to get, y'all heard that story. We got left out. So we got to wait for a few months to get that. And so I got to wait to give them $1,000 for the Thomas Whitfield and Deborah Whitfield Scholarship Fund. But thank God we were still invited to that reception dinner. Do you see that on there? And also keeping connected on the new coming of what Stockton is doing in the community, because they helped us so much, and I'm so grateful. And not only that, what's big is that not only that, my husband is signed up in school. And so he got online courses. So he's doing his little thing and he's deciding if he's going to go for the fall or whatever. Coming off of Medicaid, sometimes you need it and sometimes, you get a better deal letting them keep that little Medicaid and go ahead and do what you got to do. I'm so great. I feel so much better. I do. And so, the thing is that when you retire and you want to stay home, you still be working. So you might as well go ahead on to work. I love that. But the big thing is keeping your head right and know what field you're going to get in and know who you are. I learned so much running this, my business and my corporation, but I can't wait to go and help somebody else in insurances and counseling and help a total different field that I'm being trained in to add on to my RN degree. And that's money, baby, straight up. And only God could do that. Keep your mind to know where you can get money from when you be honest and tell the truth and not continue to collect money, So I thank God for that. So share it wherever you want. Personal information, I'm sharing it. Maybe it'll help somebody. Another thing, on the federal level, you see there with the dispensaries, nobody want a nurse or a consultant that can't pee in a cup. When you pee and urine in a cup, nobody wants that. I don't take medicine, but I do believe in dispensaries, So I used to come home from Georgia and ride this boardwalk because they had a dispensary on the board. Everybody know that. On the boardwalk. It's confidential information, but people around here don't do that, small town. Ride the boardwalk down there, go to the dispensary soon as I come from Georgia. And I lived in Georgia, but I traveled home. And to make sure, because Georgia didn't have that. It wasn't a green state like New Jersey is. So living in Georgia, I had a break in between of running home. When I came home, I ran and got my little dispensary stuff. And then I go back to Georgia. But there comes a time that you have to quit. Because now you're working in the field, you're taking care of people, and you're in the hospital. You want to go back in that field, and you don't want to be not able to pee in a cup. So I quit. Okay, no, if you see me coming around here, going around, picking up stuff, and thank God for Dash sustaining us. Anybody want to talk about that? That day I told you I was going out for Dash, y'all, everybody see I walked. Because I don't have to dash. I dash when I want to dash, and then whatever. You can't you only make like gas money off of dashing. It's okay, but, and I love it because I'm a hustler, I'm a hustler. So that's what I do. But, as I go back to to my job and the field that I'm in, listen, I've never worked and had the credit that I have. I never worked in my whole entire life and dealt with bankers and dealt with real estate and all that kind of stuff. I'm on a different plateau now to be able to deal with any bank I want to deal with and know how to keep my credit right. Because money talks, and they say it does. It does. So if you have money, you can go in. Why get a business loan if in an area that you can't even, the businesses ain't even flourishing like that, because big businesses are closing. So you got to be careful where you put your money at, as Marty Small says. You got to watch different business, because you'll lose. You'll start closing up your business. So I thank God for my little mercantile vending department. I'm going back to work. Hopefully things will open up, and I'm looking at different investors and different things, and I'll decide if I want to do that, because people want to get paid back. They want their money back. If you can't pay it and you depended on a sales here to pay your money back, you're going to get stuck with a credit thing. And the Healing House, I don't want that for the Healing House. Right now, I got to make sure some credit card bills. And once I do that, I'm not getting no more credit cards on no business, because it'll ruin it. It'll ruin it. And thank God when you know about your business. Second is, on a federal level, there it is right there. There it is. There's a Zoom going on. Okay. And in that Zoom, people tell you anything about it, and they don't even study it the doggone self. It's liquid, and this is the Bud Man and all that. If you have a dispensary and you want it to stay open, sign into that Zoom meeting right there. Stay on a federal level. Stay on it. Stop saying, they're not going to let you. It's okay to want straight up cash, but nobody said that that it's going to be a Walgreens. It's saying that there are clothes here, and you can consider opening up hopefully, it will be considered, how they give you the over-the-counter cards here, and they pay for your utilities. They pay for your phone bills, and people get it right off they even help you pay for your electric. Then it helps people with keeping their housing. So if you have this card and you can walk into the dispensary, why can't that be on here? Some of the Walgreens are closed, so you can use that. They're using it for anxiety. They're using it for different ailments in their body. I used to buy the salves and stuff, but because I'm going back to work, I want to quit anyway, so I quit. Some more, and it's very hard, because I don't. In being on Snoop Dogg page, and this young lady was talking about it, and some of the stuff. Go listen to it on Snoop Dogg TV, and they have the same lounges that some of us have over here, that they go in and smoke and all that kind of stuff. But she giving you real knowledge on a federal level. I wouldn't even knew that had changed it from a Schedule 1 to a Schedule 3. And really it don't need to be on no schedule. That's right. And so you look at those things. I don't have to tell you, because I looked at it. It really don't need to be on no schedule, because it's already a plant, and I agree with that. So, do you get certain side effects and all that? That's if people that's growing and ain't throwing all other kind of stuff around here, because there's some places that are closed because of that. So you got to do your research. People in there selling, taking people emails and phone numbers and profiles and not doing it correctly, and selling you anything. And then you coming home and you really addicted to something. So you got to start off. If not, get it ordered. Make sure your stuff is correct, because it's medicine. It is medicine, but it's natural medicine. They got balms, they have creams, they have tinctures, they got chewables, those soluble ones, and all that kind of stuff. I feel wonderful. I feel great. There's some things going on. Y'all know what the deal is as far as what kind it got and stuff. I got it on there because I live in an area with a lot of dispensaries. We cannot just not address the issues that's going on without hurting people's businesses. I think it's wonderful, as Marty Small says, about having dispensaries and businesses. But one thing I have to say is that you need the knowledge on a federal level, because there's other suggestions that can come up. Maybe we can't do it in a city, but on a federal level, if you talk up and not saying, "Oh, come on, this, and that," you don't even know what you're talking about because you're not searching it. Okay. Go search it. Sign in some of the Zooms. I know you guys are trying to run your store and stuff, but stop and get somebody to tune that in while you're working your retail. Another thing is, do y'all know that, Greater Atlantic City Chambers, Greater Atlantic City Chambers, Atlanta Black Chambers, all of those run on the same basis. They're online businesses. And they're big organizations in Atlanta, and they teamed up with big organizations as well as the Greater Atlantic City Chambers. Mr. Chait, they have big businesses here, and they get funding and stuff like that, but they're online. Meaning this, you can't walk up to their building. There's no building to walk up to because it's online. When you join their membership, it's online. So every business don't have a building. Get it in your head. Because you're small and you don't have a building, you got an expense. Okay, so look into that. So sometimes it's according to what business you have. Stop knocking other people's business that create something that's online and getting the job done. Okay, in their community. Okay, because every business here don't have a building to walk into because it's an expense. And I understand that, but you don't. So that's why I'm sharing the knowledge and the information with you. One day, after a while, shout out to the people who are reaching me about jobs and my one-stop career, who's giving me leads to get different jobs and stuff. I would have been ran back to work. Y'all know I wouldn't have been out there dash. I would have been ran back. But sometimes you got to hold up to see which way you're going and what God is saying to you. You ask him for stuff and he does it so quickly. People don't understand. But then you got to come on and you can say, I ain't worried about them understanding. Well, I care. And I try to help other people, not for people to make fun of me, because you'll be laughing and you be still in. And one day you look, I'll be past you because you laughed. So, thank you so much to Showboat. We had a great time. I wanted to share that with you. You see it down there. Shout out to different organizations. Sometimes you got to stop because you're working and you don't have time to do this. So people grab what they hear off of social media from other people and go ahead on with it. And then sit there and knock and use their information to run their business. And that's what's been going on all year. But God still got us. Now, my condolences to Reverend John Howard Jr. and the family and Pastor John Howard Sr., his wife, and all them. I'm so appreciative of all the information that and personally that I spoke and called to him myself. And one day I called. I was working down at the 101, and he spoke to me in a three-way call with his son and his wife, and I immediately made my decision on what I needed to do. And I won't forget that, because it brought me to where I am. He was a businessman, one of the powerful pastors around here. And when we was at Calvary, he helped us. So I'm so grateful. You never know what God is doing, and it made my mind up on what I want to do in 2026 to see that. And God bless you. You got my prayers, and hopefully you'll see me over the holiday weeks. I see they have something going on for New Year's and all those wonderful things like they always did in the past. And I thank God for a New Hope Baptist Church here in Atlantic City, New Jersey. God is doing something big. I have my own way and my own personal relationship with him. And so this is the way I do it. And so everybody else who wants the healing house, this and this, I know what kind of business we had. It's God's business. Okay, and we're a charitable nonprofit 501c3. That means we can hire people. We're not a strict one. We can fire people and we can hire people and we can make money to sustain and continue to grow in our community through fundraisers and all that kind of stuff. And it's powerful. It's powerful, but I don't like when I see different ones, you reaching out and they telling you to call this person and to call that person. And then they want to sit around and say, oh, the healing house, this, and that. I'm going to work hard this year because it's important that I work hard. But I'm out of the decreasing the expenses now. I'm into increasing the income this year. And he's going to do it for everybody that work hard is going to get it. It's just common sense. Everybody that work hard on their business, income going to increase. You watch. I guarantee you, if you work hard at your business, your home income is going to increase and your business income is going to increase. Don't give up. And I will. Now, I see why I could not get to Atlanta to do that event at the Hyatt Place all the way from January. Last time I was in Atlanta, we came home on December the 30th in 2024, and I had the same meeting with the same person at the planning board because of funds, and I didn't get mine until the summertime almost. And when I walk in there, did you get your 2024 grant? Same thing. Come on, man. We going in 2026, and I've been emailing you. Why would you ask me that same question again? So that's what they do, and don't get mad at me because I'm sharing this. It's very important because I'm not the only one going through this, and if it was millions of dollars, it'd be something different. It's not that. And I'm grateful for what I got. But it's federal money. It's not yours. He just gave it to you to manage it. It's federal money. So let's do it the right way, Don't exclude a small business because you're selective on who you want to get because you mad because of this, and that. And I'm telling it like it is. That's what be happening. I go to the meetings. I do. So it's very important about that. God bless all of you. I thank you for letting me come in, and I thank you for letting me speak about this. Shout out to all the casinos. I'm so grateful. If we all do a sum up of what happened from January, we're almost at the end. You just take a look each month. What happened to your business? My God, just starting off this year, coming in and starting. I was supposed to be out in Egg Harbor Township at the Regis. I had to change that around. I wind up at Stockton, and I enjoyed that and just keep going with that situation. Finally, we went through the summer and we opened up a vending spot in the summertime. These are all the things we do. And we went out and did the thing out there. And then finally, when when June came, I closed on a property here in Atlantic City with Advantage Mortgage and company, mortgage advisors. Mortgage company. So I was able to do that. I'm saying God did it. God did it, not me. He gave me the strength to be able to do that and all my family, so closed on that. And then going on through the months and stuff, here we go into a food drive and trying to continue the work in the community. And October, the beginning of October, I was received the block grant notice. And so, and giving in a revised budget, as I was told to give them that revised budget, I did. Before the purchasing department closed in November, I handed mine in. And so, everybody got it in before it closed in November. And so that way they wouldn't be kicked out before it closed. But for some reason, mine didn't get in. The Healing House didn't get in, even though we handed it in. That's why I'm asking, do you think that's right? You know, because I try to give mine back to my community. I wanted to give that scholarship so somebody in Atlantic City somewhere could go to school with $1,000 scholarship. And hey, but I was unable to do that. So I had to use my own funding and a little bit that I got from other organizations to sustain us with getting through at the Showboat event. You know, so I just thank God for that. I only hand in one receipt. That's it. You know, for what the monies that I was offered, given. So, thank God for the HUD, grant, which is the block grant, which is a federal grant. I was told that from that department they don't have it next year, and this, that, and the third. But I'll keep an eye out, and I'll make sure I go down or call the city hall on the website. And if I want to decide to put it in this year, I will. If not, we don't even apply for it. I don't know. But I don't usually not apply for no money as a small business. I have to put it in. If it's a federal one, and it's on a federal level, I got to see what God say about it. You know, people give you the wrong information. They do. They don't even study it themselves. They're looking at other organizations, and then you look around, they'll take your business and use it for themselves. I don't have to say that because all y'all saw what happened. Everybody saw it from day one, and people thought that it wasn't going to work. But because of faith changes is the thing that when you think the impossible ain't gonna happen, and it happens, and you believe that it's going, you don't even see it. I walks in the show, they came. It was wonderful. Thank you, Showboat. It was. The people came in there. So I'm looking forward to next year, going back to the Showboat, doing something annual. Hopefully next year we can look forward to those things and keep moving. Christmas is coming in. Jesus was born in a manger in Bethlehem, okay? And he's a special Jesus, and he's the Jesus of my life. And Jesus is the reason for the season. He is. He's the reason for the season. You know, I said happy holidays, but I've been saying it. Jesus Christ is the reason for this season here. And God bless all of you. I'm looking forward to talking to you later. Thanks for listening to me. Shout out to everybody. I didn't had some year, and I didn't learn a whole lot. Thank you for letting me come in and tune in, and God bless you, and have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas. God bless you.